Australia, and welcome to this week's fix of Life Support.
The only lifestyle program that has a quick fix for all the problems you need fixed quick.
That's right, and it's great to be here for you tonight.
I'm Life Support's modern woman Sigourney, and tonight I'll be showing all you ladies a fun and practical way to modify your genes and the safest way to enjoy a full sex life today.
I'm Todd, and I do all my own stunts. And if you take a tip from me, you'll be able to too. Tonight, I'll be letting you in on a way to keep your $1 million view and showing you the solution to a neighbour's constantly barking dog.
Life Support's resident Dr. Rudy here, and this week I have some invaluable advice, including preventative techniques for dealing with domestic violence and some advice for all you Catholic men.
I'm Penny, and I'll be showing all you cyber kids how to actually make money off the internet.
Jeez, are you sure we'll fit all that in?
Well, not if we hang about like this, so why don't we get right to it?
When men are looking to get married, they're often warned to look at a girl's mother if they want to know what she'll look like in 30 years' time. It's sensible advice for the man. But as a modern woman whose mother isn't terribly photogenic, it's frightening to know that you may be judged by your family photographs. Fortunately, your genetic heritage can be easily covered up with the help of some modern technology. Simply scan your family photographs. Then scan photographs of a supermodel who's aged gracefully, someone like Isabella Rossellini or Deborah Hutton. Today, I'm using Saskia. Such good bone structure. Then, simply paste her beautiful image on top of your real mother in your family photographs. And that's me at school, and that's my mum.
Wow, your mother's really beautiful.
Yes, the women in our family seem to grow more beautiful as they get older. Once you've pulled it off, you just have to cover yourself so you don't get caught. She would have loved to have met you. Unfortunately, she's dead.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Don't worry. You can meet my stepmother. She's the one I call Mum now. And that's all there is to it. A fun and easy way to maximise your chances by modifying your genes.
I love pets, especially dogs. But if the dog next door doesn't stop barking, it can drive you absolutely crazy. Now, in the old days, you just get a lamb chop, soak it in DDT, and throw it over the back fence, barking stops. But in these snobby modern times, dogs are trained to eat pedigree pet products and not just turn their nose up at a chop covered in dead flies that smells a bit funny. So, why not take a more subtle and civilised approach to the problem of the barking dog and take it up with your neighbours directly? That's right. Just invite them over to chat about their dog and put on a nice Barbie to talk it over. It's almost ready. So, here's the important part. Make sure they get 2 poison chops. Now, you don't want to end up in jail, so be conservative with your poison, giving them just enough to send them to hospital with the worst case of Barbie belly they've ever had. Here you go. Doesn't that look tops? With the neighbours out of the way for a day or so, the dog will be left on its own. Time for you to play the good neighbour and feed the hungry hound with a huge bowl of yummy milk mixed with a little bubble bath mixture. And then all that's left to do is a concerned and frantic call to the cops and the RSPCA, and in under an hour, your dog problem will be a thing of the past. Hello, is that the RSPCA? Geez, you blokes have a tough job? Oh, ta. And there you have it. You've gotten rid of the dog, but you're still considered a good neighbour. And when they come home, you gently break the news and show them the RSPCA report. Now, I reckon that's a pretty top tip.
How's it, Dr. Rudy here? Are you gay? Are you Catholic? Do you want to receive communion? Well, if the answer to those 3 questions is yes, then you're in trouble, because the Catholic Church does not condone homosexuality. I know it might be hard to believe since the rank and file are sending out mixed messages, especially to children, but that's the official position. So today, I'm going to show you gay Catholics how to beat the system and receive communion in your preferred place of worship. All you have to do is remove your rainbow sash. That's all there is to it. Unless you have Alma Bufta tattooed on your forehead, they'll never pick you, because the average person has really bad gaydar, which is why all those multimedia personalities manage to stay so long in the closet. What are you waiting for? Get in there and drink Christ's blood alongside the heterosexual faithful. And there you have it, a simple solution if you are determined to join a club that doesn't want you as a member. Bye now.
If those guys have been playing hide the sausage with all those boys all these years and now it's just come out in the open, I don't see why they can't let people take communion that are still playing hide the sausage with each other.
Everyone has rules and regulations that have to be followed, and so homosexuals have to respect that, I think, and just do something else.
But if they don't say they're homosexuals, then no one would know.
My flatmate's a fag and he doesn't really, he's half Jewish, he's Christian Catholic, and he just doesn't believe any of it anyway. So I think religion's a load of shit, so it doesn't really matter either way.
Wasn't that a wonderfully simple approach to a difficult situation? And speaking of religion, Penny, what's this? Did you join a cult this week?
Oh, this? No, I just haven't done a wash yet. It was the only thing I could find that was clean.
Really?
Well, the only thing appropriate anyway. But what about this? That's such a nice outfit you're wearing today.
Oh, do you like this, Penny? I'll let you in on a little secret. I bought it on the internet.
Sigourney surfing the net?
Penny, I'm a modern woman. We all surf. The internet has brought untold benefits to women all over the world. I mean, you can shop Rodeo Drive from any room in the house.
Oh yeah, I'm totally into the net. In fact, here's something for netheads right now. Hey, tonight I'm going to show you all how to mine a rich vein of .com gold. Internet pedophiles. You see, these pederasts scour chat rooms looking for potential victims, then lure them into unsafe situations by corrupting a kiddie's sense of judgment with hardcore pornography and expensive gifts. Gold. So, to start, the first thing you have to do is set up your own homepage. I've called mine Penny's Playhouse. I've made sure it features poor spelling, picture of me as a 12-year-old netball player, and a banal online diary about the minutiae of school, the relative merits of every posing boy band, and how I'm so mature and want some older friends. Then, to meet your victim, just go into any chat room on the net and imitate a precocious 12-year-old. Nikki Webster's a pretty good guide. And if some sicko out there has doubts about your credentials, just refer them to your website. In no time at all, you'll have a bunch of unsuitable suitors emailing you every day. Toy with them for a bit. You don't want to seem easy or too fickle. Then when they make the move, you strike. Ah, this looks promising. Subject, true love. I think about you all the time. Can I meet you? I will only meet you if you really love me. My parents don't love me. They won't buy me a PlayStation 2. How will I know if you love me? You'll catch on pretty quickly. Just make sure you get them to send your gifts care of a friend's house, because you don't want your parents to discover your secret love. And in no time, you'll have another PlayStation to add to the collection. More often than not, they arrive with one of these hardcore porn DVDs. And that's all there is to it. Now it's time to sell your gifts. I use either eBay or the Trading Post online. Last week, I sold an Xbox, a Nintendo, and 2 PlayStations for a profit of just over $1,000. And I have a substantial porn library, which is the envy of all my friends. Unfortunately, I also have a collection of pictures of fat, naked men in Groucho Marx disguises. Who knows? They could come in handy if I'm ever doing business with the federal court. See ya.
So you've finally done it. You've taken out a whopping huge mortgage and bought the house of your dreams, and isn't it just perfect? I mean, look at that view. It's worth $1 million alone. But now your only problem is how can you make sure that the view you just forked out for won't get built out? Well, don't worry, it's dead simple. All you need to do is inform the Preservation Society that the scrubland in front of your house is an Aboriginal burial ground. Then start a campaign to have it preserved as a mark of respect. Now, it's best to do this after a torrential downpour, something intense enough to naturally unearth your find. Then, all you need is some human bones, easily picked up on a Tasmanian bushwalk, and a few primitive stone tools that you've banged together in your shed. And, hey presto, development opportunity to very sacred site. Then campaign for the preservation of the site and get as many local residents involved as possible. Hi, just like that. Now, this shouldn't be too difficult at all. These type of people love to think they're conserving culture or helping the arts. I mean, you're really doing them a favour because the next time they're challenged about what they're doing for the Aboriginal community, they can cite the preservation of this site. It's much easier to care about dead Aboriginals than the living ones. And that's all there is to it. You get to keep the view that's rightfully yours whilst establishing yourself as someone who cares in the community. Another terrific tip for those at the top.
Every week, I'm inundated with letters from men asking how to seduce the ladies. Nikolai from Sunbury writes, "How do I get a woman from the bar to the bedroom?" The fact of the matter is that women actually quite like sex. Indeed, sometimes they are gagging for it. But the thing that will stop women from having sex with you is if they think you are a dork. The problem is, most women think that most men are dorks. How's it? And these decisions are made in a split second. So what you need to do is to avoid revealing the true nature of yourself. And the best way to do that is to keep your mouth shut. Don't say anything. It could be the way you boast about your job, or it could be your admission that you catch the bus to work, or it could be your accent. It only takes one piece of information for a woman to write you off for good.
I love my job, I know.
Now, the best way to avoid speaking is to go somewhere loud with someone loud. Take your most talkative mate. Then when you meet a woman, let him hold the conversation whilst you make loads of eye contact.
I know you think internet technology or IT is boring.
Because you're silent, she'll assume that you're much more interesting than you actually are. And she will eventually try to speak to you.
You're a quiet one.
But you can still ruin everything by speaking, so don't. Kiss her instead. Then at the end of the night, let the awkward, drawn-out silence force a suggestion from her.
I'm gonna go home. Do you want to share a cab?
That's all there is to it. Of course, once you get her back to her place, you will have to say a couple of things. But if things go well, you should be able to restrict yourself to yes, more, and oh my God.
No, my man's got to have some balls.
When I see a strong and silent guy, it attracts me, but at the same time scares me.
You got to let them know what you are, otherwise, you know, you could be strong and silent and be a psychotic murderer.
Seems Dr. Rudy's really helping out all you Aussie men with your relationships this year. And I've got to agree with him. I mean, sometimes the less said, the better. Don't you reckon? Todd. Oh, all right. I see, Todd. Very good. Very mysterious. Very alluring. It's not working, you know. I'm not in the least bit interested. Look, we're not going to waste everyone's time with this. Let's check out the next segment. God, you're a dork, Todd?
Whenever someone has been in a near-fatal accident, they always say that their brush with death gave them a new lease on life. So, if you're in a relationship that's going stale, why not liven it up by nearly killing him? All you have to do is drain the brake fluid from his car. Penny showed me how to do this. Then, sit back and wait for the police to call with news that your loved one is in hospital. That was quick. Hello? Is he okay? Oh, thank God.
Oh, Sigourney. All I can think about was how much I love you.
That's wonderful.
And as soon as I get out of here, let's get married.
Okay. Bye. Well, that went better than expected. Normally, I like to collect an engagement ring with a proposal, but he gave me a blank check, and I guess that's better anyway. That's all there is to it. It's high risk for high return. Sure, it may go terribly wrong, but if he isn't going to commit to you, you might as well get rid of him anyway.
Well, young Penny, it's time for us once again to dive into the mailbag and help out another average Australian.
And what do you have for us tonight, Dr. Rudy?
Well, I have a letter addressed to you. It's from Renee in Townsville. She goes on to say, over the past 2 years, I've been stalked by my ex-boyfriend. He ignores restraining orders and now I'm really starting to fear for my safety. Is there anything I can do? Please help. My word.
Well, Renee, the solution is really simple. All you have to do is kill your ex-boyfriend.
You're saying the solution is murder?
No, I'm saying the solution is manslaughter. You see, if you kill someone but you didn't mean to do it, then you'll only be convicted of manslaughter. And personally, I think it's ridiculous. I mean, if you're so careless that you can accidentally kill a perfectly innocent person, well, lethally clumsy people shouldn't be allowed on the streets. Whereas in a planned murder, the victim usually has it coming. So in a way, you're doing a community service.
Be that as it may, young lady, the law is the law.
Exactly. That's why if you want to knock someone off, you have to make it look like an accident, which is easy enough, especially if you drive your own car. You see, all you have to do is run down your intended victim in your car and then loudly and hysterically declare, "Oh my God, I didn't mean to do that."
I must say, I find that hard to believe.
Oh no, you'll totally get off. Easy. For vehicular manslaughter, you get as little as a 12-month suspended sentence. So there you go, Renee. Give that a go.
Are you sure about this, Penny? I don't think a court or a person in the world would believe you.
Oh, I'm sorry, Dr. Rudy. I didn't mean to do that.
Don't worry about it. Not your fault. Just an accident. Anyway, Penny, I think it's time we moved on from such morbid topics. Let's do that by looking at this.
You know, a recent study has found that parents with four-wheel drives run a higher risk of reversing over their children. The height of vehicles like this result in poor visibility, especially when backing out of driveways. And if you do happen to run over and cripple one of your kiddies, well, do you really want to be living in the burbs with 2.5 kids? Probably not. So to avoid becoming a statistic, I'm going to show you a top way to protect those little people from your people mover. Every time you want to take the four-wheel drive out, just gather the kids together. Then strap a tape recorder to each of them. Now, press play and the tape of a truck reversing will let you know the kids are about. And that's all there is to it. So now, if you don't see anything in your mirrors, let them warn you when you're reversing. Oh, get out of there, you little rascal. Hi.
You know, having sex with a stranger is really fun. Being thrust up against the wall of the men's toilets for a 2-minute slammer, or finding the perfect public place for some moonlight mauling. It really is the stuff of dreams. But in reality, it's not without its complications for the modern woman. 1, he leaves and then never calls you back again. 2, He never leaves, and then when he finally does, he never stops calling you. Or 3, you wake up to discover you've got a million diseases and a bun in the reluctant oven. But don't worry, because in these modern times of body and soul, I found the perfect solution to the dangers of anonymous sex. Simply get yourself a personal trainer, because as I'm about to demonstrate, you can enjoy all the thrills of hardcore intimacy without the weirdness and worry. Now, Andre here says that this exercise is working my butt, my abs, and my lower back. But as far as I'm concerned, I'm getting worked all over. I'm clamped to one of the buffest bodies I've ever seen. And in terms of erotic content, well, I'm in a public place and I'm with a hot stranger. Hey, Andre, can we do that other thing now? This exercise is called the thigh stretcher. But if you close your eyes, well, enough said. So take a leaf out of my book and get yourself a personal trainer today. They're listed at your local gym and in your local papers. And the great thing is their first consultation is usually free, so you can thigh stretch your way around town without paying a cent and without the burden of regret, disease and pregnancy. And let's face it, at 1 hour a session, that's 10 times longer than any other man in town. Hey, Andre, you want to get a frappe later?
Gee, Sigourney, what a great idea. Does it really work?
Oh, Penny, all I can say is yes, yes, yes.
I've always had an aversion to joining the health and fitness fraternity. But bugger it, I'm getting a personal trainer tomorrow.
Well done, Penny. You're never too young to start a good exercise regime.
That's right.
Well, I'm lost for words because here we are at the end of another show.
And I hope we've made your lives that little more bearable.
Oh, I'm sure we have. Hey, Todd, you're being awfully quiet tonight.
You're a tool, Todd.
Speaking of tools, make sure you join us next week, because we'll be back, same time, same channel.
Until then, why not preserve some lemons? Experiment with raffia.
And in the meantime, you little battlers keep fighting the good fight, you hear?
And remember, the only reason we're in here is because you're out there.
Good night, Australia.
And welcome to this week's information-packed instalment of Life Support.
The only lifestyle program that gives you the confidence to continue living your life.
Too true.
I'm Penny, and tonight I'll be showing you all how to get out of doing jury duty for the man.
And coming up, I'll be giving you the drum on the best way to make your house fire safe by keeping those dead leaves out of your guttering.
I'm Sigourney, and later on I'll be teaching all you modern women the simplest way to assess a prospective lover's performance potential. And I'll show you how to use some surefire shopping science to colour coordinate your latest purchase.
How's it? Dr. Rudy here, and I have some practical advice for you tonight, including some preventative techniques for dealing with domestic violence. And in a totally unrelated segment, I'll be showing you less attractive young ladies some fabulous makeover techniques.
Oh, Dr. Rudy, that sounds like a wonderful segment.
That's right, Sigourney. No ordinary-looking young lady should miss it.
Well, it sure looks like we've got a jam-packed show for you.
That's right, we've got heaps to teach you tonight. So let's get this show on the road.
Just as everyone knows in their heart of hearts that smoking is cool, everybody knows that seatbelts are for wusses. There's nothing that takes the zing out of hurtling down the highway more than the strap-down dag machine. The coolest person in history was James Dean. And while he remains an enigmatic figure, there's one thing we know about him for sure. He didn't wear a seatbelt. However, the nanny state, as run by the man, is determined to stop you from being cool. You can cop a hefty fine for not wearing a seatbelt. And on long weekends and public holidays, if a pig spots you, you can even lose your licence, which is majorly uncool. So, here's a simple way to scam the man and retain your cool. It's a seatbelt t-shirt. With a can of black paint and a wide brush, you can make your own seatbelt t-shirt in about 5 seconds. Now you can be fine-free, no matter how many cops are staring at you as you zoom past them, free and easy. Plus, you know how really cool you are. This one's for you, Jimmy.
I love my workshop, but it seems space is at a premium these days. 21st century urban living means most of us are moving to increasingly smaller residential spaces. So, what do you do when you've got a workshop and nowhere to house it in your new apartment? Here's the answer. Get yourself some brightly coloured paints and start painting your tools in some simple primary colours. My hammer is royal blue, my saw black, and my chisel set a nice cherry red. And I'm thinking I may even tint my spirit leveller in a ripple green. Now, in case you're wondering what's going on, this is called modern art. And these tools on the wall is what's called an installation. It's kind of a brash postmodern representation of the male ethos restricted in a contemporary urban context. At least that's what I tell the ladies. Now, if you want to do a bit of a workshop activity, just take your tools off the wall and use them. And when you're finished, they transform from a tool into an attractive piece of contemporary art. It's the perfect marriage of form and function. So take a tip from Todd and transplant your tools today. And you can transform yourself from a tradesman into an artiste and experience the best of both worlds.
Although a modern woman loves to have sex, it's still difficult to choose who to have sex with. Although he may be attractive, it doesn't necessarily mean he'll be a giving and generous lover. So, here's a good way to discern the demon lovers from the duds. All you have to do is invite him over for a home-cooked meal. Then when he arrives, tell him there's been a little mix-up. I'm so sorry, I got my timing all wrong. I've got all the ingredients to prepare this fantastic entree. It'll take us about 40 minutes to prepare and cook, but it tastes fantastic. It's my absolute favourite. Or, I've got this fillet steak, which can be ready to eat in just minutes. So, what do you think? Should we take the time to prepare a delicious entree together? Or are you so hungry that you just want to forget the entree and gobble the main meal right now? Entree, main. Entree, main. Entree, main. As soon as he's made his decision, you can make yours. Any man who's prepared to delay his meat pleasure for 40 minutes to make a lovely and fiddly entree just to please you is the kind of man you want to spend the night with. A long, long night. Bon appetit. So,
Gee, Sigourney, I've got to admit, that really is a great idea. I only wish I'd known that earlier.
Why is that, Penny?
Well, the other night, this guy had me over to his place and cooked me this meal that was like 8 little courses.
Degustation. Oh, you get to try a little bit of everything and it goes on for ages and ages. I like to call it Tetsuya style. So what happened?
Well, he was so into the cooking that I thought he was gay. So I faked an attack of meningococcal disease and left.
Oh, Penny.
Well, I was in the mood for a bit that night. Thought I wasn't going to get it with him, so I didn't want to waste my time. I've still got his number, but...
Good girl. Well, I guess you'll be listening a little more attentively to my advice in the future.
Maybe. Speaking of listening, here's Dr. Rudy with a choice way to get your kids to listen to you when you're telling them off.
Ada, listen to me. I've got something to say to you. I'm talking to you, boy! How's it, Dr. Rudy here? Do you have trouble disciplining your child? Do they ignore your answer back when you're trying to lay down the law? Well, today I'm going to show you how to make your child heed every word you say. Have you ever watched a child watching TV? They sit there slack-jawed, wide-eyed and completely transfixed by the screen. And they watch every video they own repeatedly. And you can't fast forward through the tedious bits because the child will have memorized every word and intonation. So, if you want your child to listen to you, simply videotape yourself telling them off. And when you play it on the television, you will have their complete attention. They'll even want to watch it time and time again. Ada, clean up your Lego when you're finished playing with it. If you leave your Lego on the floor one more time where people can tread on it, Christmas will be cancelled. As you can see, it works beautifully. And you can build a library capable of chastising him for just about anything. Because even children instinctively know when someone is on television telling you what to do, you must do everything they say. Dr. Rudy says so. Bye now. Do you want to know why? Because I said so, that's why. Because I'm in charge.
Oh, g'day. Cleaning out your gutters is a grotty job. But when you live in Australia, it's just something that's got to be done. Because these dry leaves are a fire hazard. That doesn't mean, however, that you've got to get them out by hand. Because when the Bushfire Brigade protects a big area from fire, they don't pick out all the leaves, they backburn. So, take a tip from Todd and do a bit of backburning in your own gutters. Now you can protect your home from fire by fire, just like the professionals do. Oh yeah, just so you know, it's good to have a hose handy before you start backburning.
Oh, did you see that Bruce Springsteen retrospective?
Oh, yeah, he's still the boss.
Yeah, have you been watching the repeats of 30-something on TV1?
Oh, I know, it's been great. God, can you believe we used to dress that way?
Middle-aged people are so boring. I usually try and avoid them. But of course my parents are middle-aged, so I can't avoid spending time with them. Especially not when I need to borrow money. So, if you have to spend time with the oldies, it's worth taking a couple of preventative measures so you're not bored out of your brain. The reason middle-aged people are so boring is because nothing ever happens to them. And that's something you can fix. And that's only the beginning.
Last night.
Amazing.
So you just came home and found it like this?
Yes, they didn't even steal anything. They just broke in and vandalised the place.
Really? Well, do they know who did it?
Yes. The police have arrested a couple of Mediterranean boys.
You're kidding.
No, they're in court next week.
You're kidding. Can I come along?
Well, of course you can. I've never seen you take such an interest in what goes on around here.
That's the truth.
How's it? Dr. Rudy here with more timely guidance for all you young ladies out there who are less than ideal looking. Like Trisha here. Trisha is 18 years old and has never had a boyfriend. Understandable, For as you can see, she is slightly overweight, has terrible skin and rather greasy hair. This combination has kept the boys at bay all her life, but now she wants a boyfriend and has come to me hoping for a remedy to her unfortunate appearance. Well, Trisha, I think I can help you.
Oh, really, Dr. Rudy? You think you can help me look better?
Oh, good God, no. That's not the answer. What you need to do is make yourself look even more unattractive. I'll show you how. There you are. You look more unattractive, but you do look more interesting. Now people will assume you like to look this way and will think it is your choice rather than your genes.
Is that all there is to it?
Not quite. Now you need to attend university, preferably studying for an arts or communications degree. And once you're there, you're guaranteed to meet plenty of boys who are trying not to look shallow by going out with an interesting looking girl like you.
Thanks, Dr. Rudy.
My pleasure. So there you go, girls. If you're ugly, at least be interesting. Bye now.
There's a lot more that you have to draw from yourself to be interesting. Attractive takes a hairdresser, a nice outfit and a nice pair of shoes. Interesting takes a lot more, I think.
Yeah, I don't mind colourful women. Or more colours of the rainbow, more smash. Yeah, my nigga.
No, I don't like them weirdos that dye their hair orange and then they wear, like, I don't know, crap clothes and they look like a bunch of idiots.
I've never considered what men like.
Oh, Dr. Rudy, I must say, I was quite shocked by your makeover. Can't say I like it, but I'm not sure conventional cover-up methods would have worked.
Believe me, Sigourney, it was no time for subtlety.
But what sort of man would she attract?
Well, I've heard she's become quite popular on campus. In fact, she's having an affair with her screen studies tutor.
Really?
Not only that, apparently she's also in the family way.
Oh, Dr. Rudy, that's wonderful. Another success story.
That's right, but right now, let's take a look at this.
Hardcore pornography. It's one of the most enjoyable things in a single man's life. But once you get yourself a lady friend, well, you can kiss the X-rated pleasure factory goodbye. It's merchant ivory time for you. From now on, the only chance you'll get to watch adult entertainment is on a prawn and porn night with your fellow tradesmates. And there's not a lot of point getting all steamed up with a bunch of blokes. You want to be watching it with her. And now, you can. That's right. There is a way for you to get your lady friend to be just as eager as you are to watch something really disgusting and depraved. All you got to do is go down to your local video store and rent a French film. Don't worry about which one. They're all the same. Now, simply dub the soundtrack of your French film over the top of your favourite porno. Don't worry if the sound bears no relation to what's happening on screen. Bad dubbing is traditional in all French films. Next, tell your lady friend that you've obtained a rare copy of the controversial French masterpiece Petite Blanc Vue, which has been banned in this country by narrow-minded fascists. Her pretension factors will kick in big time, and she'll sit through the most depraved stuff imaginable, as long as it's artistic. And there you have it. Hours of filthy porn you can enjoy as a couple. Makes a very powerful statement, doesn't it?
One of the worst things about being a doctor is having to fix up injuries of domestic violence. When love turns sour, the results can be sickening. Just look at this patient. I don't care what she did. It's not worth doing this to yourself. You could so easily crush your nerves or tendons. Look, it's not so bad. Most of this blood isn't even yours. There you go. Better now? To stop this ever happening again, I'm going to take you through some preventative techniques. Rule number 1, never use your fists. Do what middle-class men do when they are angry with their wives. Use verbal abuse.
Verbal abuse? Will that work?
It certainly will, and I'll show you how. Now, the worst thing you can say to any woman is this. You are fat. You try it.
You're fat.
Very good. It doesn't matter if it's true. The more you say it, the more she will believe it. It will start to chip away at her self-worth. Then to further break her spirit, take any opportunity to remind her that without you, she is nothing.
Without me, you're nothing. Hear that? Nothing.
Is that all right? Not too much?
No, that's good. Go with your instincts. Then it's a good idea to top it all off with the occasional line about her being so useless that you are thinking of leaving her.
You never get anything right. Oh, I'm so close to leaving you. Who's gonna want someone as useless as you?
Well done, you're really getting the hang of this. By now, her self-esteem will be so low, the threat that you might leave her is much more frightening than anything you can do with your fists. Of course, you have no intention of leaving her. Why would you, after putting in all this groundwork?
Is that all it takes?
That's right. After that, she'll be a blubbering heap cowering in the corner of the kitchen floor. Exactly the same result as if you punched her half a dozen times, but at no risk of physical injury to yourself.
Oh, thanks, Dr. Rudy.
My pleasure. Because there's no point in hurting a woman if you hurt yourself as well. It just makes twice as much work for me. Bana.
Your wife probably might be the mother of your children, so, I mean, that's just not on, hurting, something that's connected to you like that.
If someone hits you, I mean, the pain goes away, but what they said to you stays in your mind, and that affects you, your life, your lifestyle, and whatever you ever want to do in life.
I've probably hit a few fellas in my time as well, just because, I don't know, you just feel the need, and, I do kickboxing and stuff now, but yeah, I don't think it's just necessarily men hitting women at all.
More great advice for the average Aussie bloke.
Yep, especially for guys like me. I'm a handyman. My hands are delicate tools. They're my livelihood. I don't want anything to happen to them.
And nothing will now, thanks to Dr. Rudy.
Yep. Gee, Sigourney, take a look at that mailbag. So many problems.
Oh, Todd, mate, they're not all problems. Some of them are just letters to tell us how helpful our expert advice has been. It's so satisfying to know that we're making a difference out there.
Yep, I live to give.
Let me read you this one from Mick from North Melbourne. Yous guys totally rock. It's been fully sick having yous back on the telly, helping me and me mates do stuff and that. The chicks are hot and the guys rule heaps. Stay bent. I think that speaks for all Australians.
Totally. And if any of you guys have got a problem that's giving you the irrits, or you just want to drop us a line, like Mick, why not write in to Life Support?
Locked bag 028.
Crow's Nest.
1585.
And right now, we're going to take a look at this.
Oh, Christ. Jury duty. How the hell did they get my name? I thought I'd had that taken care of. What sort of fascist state is it that forces you to go to court and cast judgment on everybody? Jury duty is a prerogative we all want to evade in a healthy democracy. And it's simple, if you know what to do.
Miss Penny, what are your thoughts on mandatory sentencing for murder?
I'm a firm believer in the death penalty for abortionists. If you ask me, the maximum sentences for most crimes isn't long enough, especially shoplifting. I heard the other day that the government was talking about closing down some of the prisons. Shouldn't we be building more? How will these people ever learn if they're not punished? And the punishment never seems to fit the crime. We have to be firm with these drug dealers and rapists. They should be locked up for as long as possible. Look at Thailand. Look at Saudi Arabia.
And there you go. There's no way any defence lawyer will agree to have someone like me sitting on a jury. And if you're not sure what to say, Talkback Radio is full of intolerant opinions and reactionary ideas you can use. Just spray these at the boys in court and your free time's yours again. See ya.
Shopping has to be one of the most relaxing and rewarding experiences around for today's modern woman. But the most common mistake a conscientious fashion shopper can make is buying an item that you can't accessorise with the rest of your wardrobe. And trying to remember the exact colour shade of every item of clothing that you have would be absolutely maddening. So here's an easy way to make sure you always buy the right outfit. All you need is one of these. Excuse me, I'm trying to pick the right colour. Do you mind holding them up? Thank you. While the salesgirl is temporarily blinded, simply cut a small piece of fabric from each of the garments you're interested in. Thanks. Then when you're at home, test your cuttings against the rest of your wardrobe. That's the one. Now you know exactly what to buy. I like it, but it's damaged. How about 50% off? Oh, sorry, the button on this thing is so sensitive. Not that you actually have to go home with the damaged one.
Oh, word, Sigourney, that was quite unusual advice.
Yeah, what a great idea. I'm impressed.
Oh, Penny.
Yeah, I guess I'm impressed too.
No, I'm serious. I really am learning more and more from you every week. That was a pretty cool scam.
I don't think of it as a scam, Penny. I just think it makes sense to save money for those in-between times when you can't bank on a bloke.
Oh, well, I wouldn't bank on a bloke to save my life. But freaking the fascist fashion mafia out appeals no end.
Well, disbelieve if you must. But here we are, and it's the end of another show.
And for you at home, I hope the search for your solution ended satisfactorily.
If not, there's no need to worry.
Because we will be here for you again next week.
With more advice you won't find on any other lifestyle show.
That's right. Until then, why not experience the joy of sponsoring a child or painting a self-portrait?
In the meantime, you Australians look out for one another.
Yep, and while you're doing that, don't forget to look out for yourself.
Good night, Australia.
Hello, Australia, and welcome to this week's prescribed dose of life support.
The only lifestyle program that lets you in on all the stuff you never thought you could do.
That's right. It's wonderful to be in your homes tonight.
Yes, it is. I'm Todd, Life Support's handiest man. And tonight, I'll be heading out to the backyard and giving you some top tips on eating fresh and fast from your very own veggie patch.
I'm Penny. You know the rest. A little later, I'll be showing you how to keep those points on your driver's license. And I'll be topping up your knife knowledge with a frisk-free way to carry an awesome blade in today's uptight uptown.
Knowing I need no introduction, I'll simply say, how's it, and tell you that tonight I'll be teaching you a memory trick that will make you the envy of an elephant.
I'm Life Support's modern woman Sigourney, and tonight in a special segment, I'll be showing you ladies the perfect place to hide your solo pleasure pal.
Oh, well, haven't we got an exciting show for you tonight?
Yeah, it sounds all right.
It certainly does, so let's get started.
You know, there's nothing more satisfying than eating your own food from your own garden. But unfortunately, too many people think they don't have the time to tend to a veggie patch or even the time to wait for nature to deliver the goods. But if you take a tip from Todd, you can maintain that gratifying feeling of self-sufficiency without the hassle. Instead of planting seeds, just bury canned veggies in your garden. You still feel in touch with the land, but you guarantee a meal from your garden instantly. Now, there are a couple of things you should know if you're keen to try this at home. Firstly, make sure your soil has good drainage. If it retains too much moisture, that could spell a spot or two of rust, not to mention rotting away labels, and you don't want potluck for dinner every night. Secondly, this type of gardening is ideal for what we call companion planting. This is when you group together all the vegetables and herbs that complement each other. Like sliced beetroot and 3B mix should always be planted together because they partner up so well in a buffet lunch spread. Try to avoid putting carrots and asparagus together as they are seasonal vegetables and don't really mix well. And if you're living in an apartment or you don't have a garden, you can still be satisfyingly self-sufficient with a simple window box herb garden. Basil. Oh, it always smells sweeter when it's straight from the garden.
Did you know that the cops now have the power to randomly stop and search anyone they think might be carrying a knife? They're victimising people just because of the way they look. And apparently we look like the kind of people that'd carry a blade. But don't worry, because there is a way for you to carry a knife without the cops giving you a second look. Simply dress in chef's whites. It's customary to carry the tools of your trade to work with you, and you don't even have to conceal them. And let's face it, this is going to do a lot more damage than some pussy butterfly knife. So there you go, kids. If you're in a knife-carrying gang, don't wear colours, wear whites, because the cops will always leave whites alone. See ya.
Every modern woman, married or single, no matter how socially adept, will eventually find herself home alone with an itch to scratch that just won't go away. So, every girl needs a little helper like this. It doesn't always take two to tango, and let me tell you, there's no shame in a little solo dirty dancing. The trouble is, no matter where you hide it, there's still a chance that your lover, boyfriend or husband is going to find it. And men hate the idea that you might actually get sexual pleasure from something that isn't them, especially something that stays hard for over 4 minutes. So, the eternal question remains, how do you have your little helper and hide it too? Well, as Edgar Allan Poe taught us in the Purloined Letter, the best place to hide something is out in the open. People never look for something that's right in their face every day. So, here's the way to make sure that your not-so-little secret is safe. Disguise it as a toilet roll holder. Simply remove the roll from the bracket and then insert your pleasure machine as the spindle of the toilet roll holder. And there you go. Men are so used to having these kinds of phallic objects in the loo, they'll never give it a second thought. Oh, and if he does call you on the phallic shape of the holder, accuse him of having a filthy mind and ask him if he often has homoerotic thoughts like that. He'll back off quick smart, so he'll never discover that the loo roll holder is battery operated.
It's quite embarrassing. They should hide it, they should keep it in a private place.
I'm not saying I have one, but in the clothes, you know, you put them all at the back there and just make sure it's your private drawer. But then again, don't call it a private drawer because they're bound to go for it.
One chick I know that does have a dildo doesn't hide it. And her boyfriend doesn't hide it either. They just leave it lying around. Yeah. Which gets me a bit horny.
Geez, Dr. Rudy, what do you reckon about that?
Well, I think it's totally unnecessary for young women to use things like that. Not everything has to be a DIY project. Get a man, for God's sake.
I know, and batteries are so expensive these days, but a bloke I mean, all you got to put in a man is a meal and he's ready to go.
That's right. And next time she declines your advances by saying she has a headache, remember it's probably from the buzzing sound she's been listening to all day.
Geez, Dr. Rudy, you might be onto something there.
Well, let's move on now, shall we, Todd?
Yeah, right. And let's do that by taking a look at this.
In this day and age, we're more and more conscious of what we're putting into our bodies and what we're putting on our bodies. So, when you're next buying makeup, here's a label all modern women should look for. Not tested on animals. It's important because it means the manufacturers haven't really found out for sure whether or not your makeup will react with your skin. Now, I'm all for animal liberation, but if it's the choice between a bunny suffering hours of excruciating pain before a tortured death or me getting a nasty rash on my cheek just before a big night out, well, it's no contest. And because this sort of thing now dominates the cosmetics industry, almost nothing has had a proper test on flesh. So here's a solution. Simply offer to look after your friend's children. Then have a fun makeup session where the kids can try on all the newly released makeup lines. Children are best for makeup trials for 2 reasons. Firstly, they love to wear lots of makeup. Little girls will want to apply more than a prostitute, and little boys will always want to paint their face like a clown, so they're guaranteed to get maximum exposure to any nasties. And secondly, their young skin is much, much more sensitive than yours. So if they come away unscathed, then you know that your cosmetics are completely safe. And if they discover a product that's probably best avoided, those tears will be washed away with a piece of chocolate long before Mummy and Daddy come home. Make sure you carefully note the product so that you never use it and so you can recommend it to girlfriends who've done you wrong. Or better? So remember, it's still possible to have a clear conscience and a clear complexion. Not tested on animals? No need, when they've been tested on little angels.
The problem Australia is facing at the moment is that a lot of our international brothers and sisters are taking a leaky cruise ship to rock up on our lucky doorstep. So since a lot of these boat folk are from Afghanistan and all they want to do is settle down and lead a peaceful life, how about some of you lucky Aussie farmers show a bit of heart and arrange for an Afghani family to leave their own bombed out backyard and settle into yours? It'll be well worth it, because while you help your new Afghani brothers and sisters, aunts, uncles, cousins and grandparents find a new home, you'll be able to use their expertise in semi-arid farming to your advantage. Before America and their mates moved in, Afghanistan's major export crop was poppies, which when refined supply 70% of the world's heroin. So remember, think globally, act locally. The next time your field is fallow, don't follow the crowd. Diversify your crops by planting poppies. Then simply encourage your new neighbours to do what they do best. It all balances out pretty well. The Afghanis are experts in cultivating semi-arid soil and they want to live here. And because European farming methods have stuffed the land, most Australians want to live in the cities. So, here's an opportunity to get off the sheep's back by boosting your economy with cheap smack. See ya.
How's it? Dr. Rudy here. In this age of networking, when remembering someone's name is more important than talent or work ethic, the one thing that you don't want to have is a poor memory. Unfortunately, as people grow ever more boring and pedestrian, it's becoming increasingly difficult to remember their names. That's why I like to employ a little technique called mnemonics. Mnemonics is just a term we professionals use for a short rhyme or phrase you use as a memory aid. So when you meet a new person, just think of a phrase that rhymes with their name and you're much more likely to remember their name the next time you meet. Slept with his wife. Jonathan Fife. Hello again. How is your wife? Ah, big, dull and fat. Angela Pratt. Good to see you. 9 months to live. How's it, Viv? You're looking great. It's easy as that. So wave goodbye to the social blues today with the aid of our memory friend, mnemonics.
Hello there.
Ah, locks the back door, Fiona Moore. Bye now.
Oh, Penny, that was an informative segment, don't you think? I mean, I really believe... Oh, my God! What? Your arms, under your arms, there's something there.
There's nothing there.
What do you call that?
Hair?
I can't believe it. I mean, on national television. I mean, you don't have to respect yourself, but at least you can respect the people at home. They don't need to see that.
I don't think they care.
Well, I just hope there's a good reason for it, like severe sensitivity or extreme allergy.
Nah, just don't shave my pits. I'm not making the man rich by buying his blades. Especially not when he's the one telling me I need to be smooth, to be feminine.
But you do. I mean, how on earth are you going to get a man if you're trying to compete to look like one?
Oh, don't worry, I do all right. In fact, some blokes think it's a bit of a turn on.
Really? No, I think it says more about your boys rather than my men. Anyway, I think you should put them away now.
Couldn't agree more.
Mm-hmm. So right now, let's take a look at this.
There's nothing wrong with living in a small apartment. What with housing prices these days, most of us can't afford to live in the salubrious digs that we'd like. What's more, if you're trying to make a good impression with that special lady, sometimes you want to make things appear bigger than they really are. 10 years ago, a home decorator would have told you to install mirrors all down one wall, but no one's fallen for that trick since 1987. The answer is to create the illusion that there's more to your pad than meets the eye. Simply install some fake doors, and your bachelor pad will become a multi-room palace. And if anyone asks you what's in the other rooms, just act all mysterious and elusive. Girls love a man of mystery.
The real estate market is by definition competitive. But with so many houses up for auction every week, how do you differentiate your investment property from the others in the street? The answer is simple. No matter how far we think we've crawled out of the primeval ooze, we are still motivated by primitive urges. So, on the day of your auction, just borrow your next door neighbour's house and then phone your favourite madam and engage the services of two trustworthy professionals, giving them explicit instructions.
At 600, take your 25, 625 to bid now.
Would you like to meet them?
700. At 700,000 to bid, 50 to bid now.
Yeah.
700.
Remember, when it comes to real estate, it's all about position, position, position. So take my advice and you'll double the return on your extremely hot property.
Sold to you, sir. Congratulations.
Bye now.
These days, speed cameras are everywhere. And if you get pinged by one, you not only cop a fine, but you also lose points off your licence. So if you like to lead-foot it, don't worry, because there is a way for you to get where you're going faster without losing a point. Here's what you do. When a fine arrives, pay it. But here's the tip. Give them a tip. If you're supposed to pay a fine for $118, send them $120. Then the Infringement Processing Bureau will send you a cheque for the excess $2. Now, here's the important part. Don't cash that cheque, because thanks to the beauty of bureaucracy, the Infringement Processing Bureau can't deduct points from your licence unless the cheque's been presented. And that's all there is to it. I'm sure you still have to pay the fine, but the point is, your points are more valuable, especially on a double demerit weekend. See ya.
Gee, Sigourney, seeing as that's the mailbag, why don't we take a look at this week's viewers' letters?
And this week, we've got a very special letter from a very special young lady.
Okay.
She writes, "My name is Daisy and I'm an Aboriginal woman who is part of the stolen generation. I'd been living happily with my foster parents Doug and Beverly for 5 years. I had a television in my room, made decent pocket money and was on the hockey team. Then one day, someone decided this was wrong and callously took me away from them. I didn't even get a chance to say goodbye.
Gee, this nation of ours has a lot to answer for.
I followed the white picket fence back to our home in St Ives, but they'd already moved on. It's been 20 years since I've seen them, but I was wondering if there was any way you could reunite me with the two people I still think of as my parents. Yours sincerely, Daisy, formerly of St Ives.
Daisy, if I said I knew pain like yours, I'd be lying.
And Daisy, I just want to say to you and your foster parents and all the foster parents who have had their children shamelessly taken from them, we at Life Support are deeply sorry.
And Doug and Bev, if you'd like to be reunited with your temporary daughter Daisy, why not write into us and we'll try and get you back together.
Oh yes, we'd love to reunite your family. Just contact us at Life Support, Locked Bag 028.
Crow's Nest 1585.
I just hope it works out for the best.
But right now, why don't we lighten the mood and take a look at the next segment?
Had a filth party last night. The only problem is, my next door neighbour Jerry keeps giving me grief. But I like to party, and I'm sick of the man's minions coming round and shutting things down. So, today I'm going to show you how to make sure your next door neighbour never calls the cops again. All you have to do is grab yourself half a dummy and screw it onto a skateboard. Put a t-shirt on it and whack on a cap. Now you have yourself an innocent kitty just playing on his skateboard. The next time your neighbour goes to work, just roll the dummy out in front of the car. When the dummy's hit, intercept your neighbour before he gets out of the car. Don't worry, mate, I'm the only one who saw. Just drive. I'll take care of it. For God's sake, just drive. Now, your neighbour will probably contact you within a couple of hours. Just tell him the child is dead and you've buried the body. No one will ever know, it's just our little secret. He shouldn't complain about the noise anymore, and there's no way he'll call the cops. And you can count on him to help you out with anything you need in the future. Right neighbourly of him. See ya.
Uncomfortable shoes can take the fun out of even the nicest evening. Your mind should be focused on him, but instead, it's focused on the pain from the blood blister that's swelling up in your stiletto. But of course you can't wear comfortable shoes. We all know what they say about women who wear comfortable shoes. Fortunately, I have a solution. Next time you have a big night out wearing sadomasochistic shoes, get a doctor to give you an epidural.
That's right. Once I inject this anaesthetic into Sigourney's spine, she won't be able to feel anything from the waist down.
Thanks, Dr. Rudy. Do you like my new shoes? They could be lined with razor blades. I don't feel a thing. Now I can hang on his every word without selfishly thinking about my own pain. True, you do need to take sex into consideration. But I find that in certain cases, not being able to feel anything can sometimes be an advantage.
Okay, I've picked up heaps of chicks in the clubs. They got high heels on. I mean, they come home. Sometimes I go home, a couple of them if I'm lucky, and they go all blisters and that. And I go, what do you wear them? They go, I don't care, just to look good. They had to pick up me, mate. That's right. So it's all right. I don't care. It's their pain, not my loss.
Oh, g'day. You may have noticed that reality TV has captured the imaginations of not only our nation, but the entire world. Seems we love to turn on the telly and watch a bunch of strangers taking their clothes off, then voting each other off islands or out of houses. Now, I'll be honest with you, I'd love to be involved in a game like this, but the reality is, only one person walks away with that prize. But there is a way for you at home to enjoy the thrills and excitements of the reality TV experience, making sure you walk away with it all. All you need to do is make a list of some of the people in your life. Like here, I've listed down my mum, my dad, my lady friend Lynette, my fellow co-hosts, my mate Kev from footy, and my stylist Tyrone. Now, at the start of every week, I'm going to call up two of these people, the two that have been annoying me the most, and let them know they've been nominated to be voted out of my life. Hello, Kev? Yeah, it's Todd here, mate. Hey, Kev, you know how on Monday night after footy training you dacked me in front of that ladies' netball team? Well, yeah, I've nominated you for eviction out of my immediate circle. So unless you clean up your act, I'm voting you out. Bye. You exciting, isn't it? And it's a great way to keep your family, friends and lovers on their best behaviour. Now, at the end of every week, when you've really had a good think about it, just call up your chosen evictee and let them know that Todd has spoken. Then, cross them off your list. Now, after a month or so, you may begin to feel a little lonely, but don't panic. That's just part of the experience. And as the ancient Chinese proverb goes, if you love something, set it free. If it comes back to you, it's yours forever. And if it doesn't, it was never yours to begin with. But when they do come back, you'll hit the prize pool. Hello? Oh, g'day, Mum. Yeah, of course I'd like you to take me out to lunch. That'd be lovely.
Well, there's a chance you're not going to believe this, but here we are, which means it's the end of another show.
That's right, and I hope we brought some relief to your lives.
Oh, Dr. Rudy, I just know that we've made a difference.
Totally. But for those of you whose lives are more complicated and you're still searching for succour, don't worry, because we'll be back again next week.
With more advice you'll only find on Life Support.
In the meantime, why not rejuvenate yourself at a health spa?
And don't forget, the only reason we're in here is because you're out there.
Until then, be good to one another.
And remember, we're here for you.
Good night, Australia.
Welcome to this week's episode of Life Support, your very own blueprint for a better life.
Straight, because this is the only lifestyle show about real life.
Only because we here at Life Support have all the solutions to all the problems you people always seem to have.
Yes, that's right. How's it? Life Support's resident Dr. Rudy here. A little later tonight, I'll be showing you parents a natural way to tame your toddler's tantrums, and I'll be revealing a terrific technique for a pain-free tattoo.
G'day, Todd the handyman here, and coming up I've got a top tip to restore some simple thoroughfare safety to your home, and I'll be gearing you blokes up with a great way to meet the ladies in today's mistrustful market.
I'm Sigourney, and tonight I'll be showing all you modern women and women who aspire to be a wonderful revenge idea when you find yourself jilted.
I'm Penny, and you should be looking to me if you want to make your life a lot simpler. Tonight, I'll be demonstrating how with some simple craft, you can let the lecherous lads at the local know that no means piss off.
Well, I must say, we have a lot to teach tonight.
That's right, so let's not hang about, let's give it the green light. Jeez, that was close. 90% of accidents happen in the home, and high usage areas are always going to result in domestic black spots like this. But don't worry, there is something you can do about it before tragedy strikes. Simply install a roundabout in your home's high traffic areas. All you need is an old tyre painted white for safety, then landscaped with some Australian natives for that authentic DMR look. Now you can install these anywhere in your home where collisions can happen, and they're easy to customise to suit a variety of traffic patterns or decors. Remember, roundabouts not only steer traffic in the right direction, they also slow down any potential troublemakers. So, take a tip from Todd and tame your toddler traffic today.
Always the last one standing. There's nothing more annoying than putting out coasters for your guests only to sit and watch them not being used, especially when it results in waterings on your fine coffee table. But I've found a fabulous and fun way to make sure your guests always use the coasters you provide. All it takes is a bit of decoupage. The problem with attractive coasters like these is that people are reluctant to put anything on top of something so pretty. So all you have to do is cover your coasters with pictures you and your guests would rather have covered up. Just scour a variety of magazines for the appropriately appalling images. Then cut these out and use a thinned down water-based woodworking adhesive to glue them onto your coasters. And once they've dried, just apply a couple of coats of clear Estopol. So there you are, ready for your next evening of entertaining. So where should we go first?
You going, gorgeous? Can I buy you a drink?
No. When you're having a cup of quiet drinks with a couple of quiet mates, there's nothing worse than the leering attentions of a guy who just doesn't cut it. So what do when he doesn't understand that no means piss off? All you need to deflect the dickheads is one of these. That's right, it's a door snake. Now, all you have to do is simply cut your snake in half, like so, and empty out some of the sawdust inside. Then when you have your desired length, put it aside to sew later on. Now, with the end of the other half, empty out most of the sawdust and tie a knot here. And another knot here. Then simply snip off the excess material and you're left with 2 balls filled with sawdust. Now, sew the other half up, then sew these 2 pieces together. Then slide the whole package down your pants and your door snake is now a trouser snake. So, the next time some goose staggers up to you to tell you you're beautiful, just invite him to cop a feel. And enjoy the confusion registering in his cloudy eyes when he feels tongue where there should be groove. And you'll be left alone for the rest of the night. Just remember to whip out your trouser snake if you see someone you like the look of, or you may find your relationship getting off to a weird start. See ya.
Well, Todd, I must say I'm a little disappointed, mate.
Why is that, Sigourney?
Well, when Penny asked to borrow some sewing scissors and a needle and thread, I thought she might be finding her feminine side. Obviously, I was very wrong.
Yeah, I thought it was a pretty good idea myself.
Really?
Oh, yeah, when you're battling with the beer goggles, sometimes you women need to take more drastic measures to get the point across.
Oh, what rubbish. I think she needs to change her venue rather than changing her gender. I mean, the watering holes I frequent, if I'm confronted by a man who happens to be wearing his Grosch goggles, well, I just use it as a starting point for negotiation. Any woman would.
Yeah, right. Hey, Sigourney, do you have any tattoos?
What do you think, Todd?
I don't know, that's why I asked.
No, I don't. I'm not interested in subtracting from the glory of my body by cheapening it with some tacky tattoo.
But Penny's got a tattoo.
Exactly.
She's got a couple, actually.
Well, I reckon you'd look quite cute with a chain of flowers on your ankle, or maybe a little butterfly just above your bum.
Really? Anyway, I don't think I could take the pain of having a tattoo done.
Well, now you don't have to, because here's Dr. Rudy with the top technique on dealing with the pain of that permanent procedure.
How's it? Dr. Rudy here. This week I received a letter from Siobhan of Lakemba, a young lady with a query that is quite typical of young women today. She writes, "Dear Dr. Rudy, I have been thinking about it for quite a while now, and I would love to get a tattoo. The only problem is I have a very low tolerance to pain, and seeing as though most tattooists demand that you be sober for your session, I was wondering if you could recommend an alternative painkiller that could help me through my ordeal. Yours in anticipation, Siobhan." Well, Siobhan, I think I have the answer for you and every other woman who wants to follow a fad but can't take the pain. All you have to do is become pregnant. That's right, get yourself in the family way, and then in 9 months' time, tell your hippie midwife that instead of a homeopathic home birth, you would like to go tribal for your first baby.
Keep pushing. Keep still, goddammit.
You see, the miracle of childbirth blocks out all other pain. So, it is the perfect time to have any other painful procedures done. And a tattoo parlor is the perfect place to give birth. These days, you'll find they are more sterilized than most public hospitals. But once the child is born and your tattoo complete, you'll have at least one part of your body that you're happy to look at. Just remember that sometimes you may not like your tattoo straight away, but don't worry. Post-tattoo trauma is quite normal. Bye now.
I'll leave it out. As any Aussie bloke will tell you, there's nothing more relaxing and natural on the weekend than indulging in a bit of binge drinking. But don't you hate it when it's the morning after and your mates make out that you were the one that went too far and got too drunk? And you don't know if it's true because you can't remember anything. Well, don't despair, because there is a way to total yourself on the weekend and not be the figure of infamy the next day. When you go out, bring along an Aboriginal mate. G'day, Kev.
G'day, mate. How you doing?
Good, mate. That way, it doesn't matter how hammered you get, the next day your mates, like everybody else in the country, will automatically assume that he was drunker than you. You want a beer, Kev? Cool. So, take a tip from Todd, and if you enjoy binge drinking but suffer from blackouts, just bring along a black fella. If you pick your drinking partners carefully, you can enjoy your excess without the remorse. Beer, thanks, mate.
A lot of women these days make choices, and we're all different, and that's okay. A modern woman should never wear comfortable shoes. I mean, pretty shoes may be uncomfortable to walk in, but you don't have to walk anywhere when you've been swept off your feet. I admire career women. I mean, if I went home alone every night to nothing but an empty house, a cask of Chardonnay and a frozen lean cuisine, I mean, I'd get so lonely. A modern woman should always chew each mouthful 32 times. It helps you to remember not to speak and gives you that shy, deferential look. What do I think of Germaine Greer? Well, I don't want to be cruel because she is an old lady, and it's not her fault she's a lesbian. When I was a little girl, my grandmother used to say to me, "Who are you? What are you doing here?" She was so into metaphysics. It was so sad.
Well, some wonderful reflections there for young ladies like yourself, Benny.
You reckon?
Yes. Well, generally speaking. Did you know, Penny, that these days parents are being frowned upon if they smack their children for being naughty?
Oh, not just parents. Babysitters have been banned from using the hand as well. It's a total joke.
Well, you don't have to worry because coming up, I'm going to show you all an alternative way to tame a toddler's tantrums. Is your child naughty? Yes, I know all children are naughty these days. So increasingly, you parents are turning to doctors like me to find a convenient, time-saving medical solution to your child's naughtiness. Now, you could get your doctor to prescribe this. Ritalin. If doping up your child with drugs to moderate their behavior appeals to you, then this is for you. But the new trend with parents is to be down on pills. It's so hard to force a child to swallow them. So today, I'm going to teach you how to subdue your child the natural way. Simply raise your child on a vegetarian diet. After just 2 weeks of eating only vegetables and lentils, they'll be too tired and listless to get up to any mischief. They'll be too sickly to roughhouse and scuff up their clothes or run around making lots of noise. And you'll never have to hit your child with a wooden spoon again, because when they turn up at school with a tofu sandwich, the other children will bully them so brutally they will completely crush any remnants of their precocious character. No more TV for you. I want to read my book. So, there you have it. To tame your child's tantrums, simply tamper with their tea time and remove their meat. It's a completely natural way to turn them from a Genghis Khan to a Gandhi. Bye now.
You know, these days it's getting harder and harder to meet women. You spend a fortune scouring the local watering holes on a Saturday night, and if you eventually do speak to a woman, she's always reluctant to give you a phone number. Stalkers have a lot to answer for. Well, don't worry. If you take a tip from Todd, you'll find yourself with a list of women's names and phone numbers, and it won't cost you a thing. You just got to make yourself one of these.
Then when things get a little quiet in the lady friend department, just hold an open for inspection at your place.
All you need is a suit, a clipboard, and a little bit of patience. Then the women will come to you, and it's a great way to make a good first impression. You look nice, you appear to have a good job, and you know the conversations will be forthcoming.
Hi, I'm Miller Johnson. My numbers are on the card.
Oh, so Miller, are you looking to move in or invest?
Oh, definitely move in.
Yeah, I could totally see you living here. And you just do that several times until you have a list of prospective partners and phone numbers.
Hi, I'm Brad Girling. This place is perfect as an investment property.
Oh, yeah, well, you'd have to get rid of the asbestos and cure the concrete cancer, but yeah, she goes all right. Of course, you have to expect the odd bloke, older woman, or worse, married couple to come wandering through. But if you're organised, you can prevent this by placing an ad in the local paper describing the place as ideal for the single urban professional woman. Then, once you've seen what's on the market, it's just a matter of choosing the right one. Oh, hello, Mila. Yeah, Mila, it's Todd here from the Open Inspection. I was just wondering if you wanted to have a private viewing of the property. Oh, great. I'll see you then. And that's all there is to it. A simple and surefire way to make sure you're always on top of the meeting market.
For the modern woman scorned, melodramatic acts are always tempting, but only momentarily satisfying. Pining, sobbing and binging are just so unattractive, and such a waste of time that could be better spent planning revenge. Revenge is so empowering. When you've been unaccountably Dear Janed, why not strike back by taking aim where he's most sensitive, his wallet. Hello, Larson. No, don't speak. I'll be brief. Look, I need to come round this evening to pick up my belongings and to return your keys. Yes. And I'd prefer it if you weren't there. I just don't think I'm ready to see you right now. Once inside, head straight for his study and access his internet connection settings. Most national service providers give you a local phone number to dial up your nearest access point, so that every time you log on, it'll cost you no more than a local call. However, these access points are nationwide, and you may select a more remote one. So, simply change his local default phone number to one interstate. Now, every time you're tempted to think about him going about his life sans you, well, at least you know his newfound freedom will be costing him around 70 cents a minute.
If she broke up with me, you know, it's her fault, so I might as well, you know, ruin her life so she can never date another bloke ever again.
I have had guys come up to my house, break into my house and come up with like guns and also machetes, threatening to kill me.
You'd get the prank calls or the crank calls 5 times a day, 6 times a day, brick through your window, obsessive calls to your home, which really upsets your parents living at home also.
She tried to tell everyone that like I was sleeping with her best friend, but then I told everyone that she actually masturbated. You know what I mean? And, yeah.
Well, Sigourney, I know we say it each week, but my word, we certainly do receive a lot of mail, don't we?
I know, Dr. Rudy, so much so that it's really starting to back up. And from looking at these letters, some people have problems that need urgent attention.
Now have a listen to this problem from Jay Gavaskar of Tempe. He or she writes, each week you refer to the amount of problems contained in your mailbag, but seldom seem to have the time to fix any of them. Will you be solving any of our problems? Regards, so on. Well, Jay, the answer to your question is yes.
Of course, we want to help all average Australians as much as possible.
We here at Life Support do hold all the answers to all your problems.
So, for some of you more desperate cases, here are the solutions you've been looking for.
Starting with Janelle of Geelong. Don't make more of it than what it is. Just leave him.
Michael of Kelso. Try shea butter. I do.
Brendan of Fremantle. No, I would not like to join you for a drink.
Danny of Canberra. If wool irritates your skin that much, you could always try not wearing it.
Arvin of Goulburn. That's not what it was intended for, but if it makes you happy and doesn't hurt anybody else, I say do it.
Samantha of Coopapedy. You must leave town tonight. Now. With only the clothes on your back if you must, but it has to be tonight.
Arta of Cairns. Let me put it this way. I wouldn't.
Gretel of Sydney. For a simpler solution, you could just try being nice to people.
Dirk of Broome. Yes, I think 34 centimetres is about right.
Beatrice of Alice Springs. You naughty, naughty girl. I love it.
Ravi of Oberon. Well, from your photograph, I suggest if you stop rubbing it, it should go away.
And finally, Linda from Launceston. Well, I think you just need to take a look at the next segment.
Don't you hate it when you wake up in the middle of the night because you got to go to the toilet? I mean, you're busting to go, but you don't want to get out of bed because it's so cold. Well, take a tip from Todd, because there is a way to take a leak in the comfort of your own bed. When you got to go, go in a hot water bottle. That way, you never have to leave the comfort of your cosy bed. When you're finished, just screw the lid back on tightly and keep your bed and body warmer till morning. And that's all there is to it. An environmentally responsible way to strain the potatoes and keep warm in the middle of a cold winter's night. Oh,
Sometimes when I go into work, I just don't feel like doing any work. Fortunately, I found a great trick to get away with doing nothing all day. All you have to do is go commando.
As soon as you ditch the bra, the guys in the office will be riveted to every movement of your chest. Especially if you bounce a bit as you move about the office. Oh, hi Klaus. Can I do anything for you?
Don't worry. The other working women will go elsewhere before getting involved in such a cheap point-scoring stunt. And finally, when your boss finds out what's going on, he's not going to ask you to put your bra back on, because then he'd have to acknowledge that he noticed you took it off. And if he did that, you could sue him for sexual harassment. And that's all there is to it. When you give your bra the day off, you can take the day off yourself. Because when you go commando, no one will notice if you don't do a stroke of work all day. See ya.
Well, everyone, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but here we are at the end of another show.
No, I simply can't believe it.
And I hope we've made your lives just that little bit better.
And make sure you join us next week for our final show for Series 2.
Yeah, that's right, because we may have a few surprises in store for you.
Oh, don't worry, we definitely do.
And it means you only have 7 days left to send us your cure queries.
Until then, you Australians be good to one another.
And in the meantime, why not learn to play an ethnic instrument?
And always remember, we're here for you.
Good night, Australia. Welcome to the last episode of this series of Life Support.
The only lifestyle program that tells each and every one of you exactly how to live your lives.
That's right. G'day, I'm Todd, and if you're looking for a handyman, look no further. Tonight, I'll be returning to the kitchen and showing you all how to prepare a deliciously different delicacy from Japan.
Dr. Rudy, delighted to be here. Coming up, I'll be presenting parents with a practical procedure to improve your child's posture permanently.
Penny, I'll be giving you young single mums the drum on how you can use your new baby to get ahead in the workforce.
I'm Sigourney, and ladies, if you're still looking for Mr. Right, I'll explain why you needn't look any further than your own father.
Gee, Sigourney, I'll be on the lookout for that segment.
Yes, I think I will do.
I definitely will.
Fabulous. Well, I think you'd agree that we've got a lot to enlighten you with tonight, so why don't we get started?
G'day. After a hard day's work, there's nothing sweeter than a relaxing massage to soothe the tensions and worries that are part of daily working life. But it's not always possible to get a massage at home, and massage parlours are seedy. It's hard to find one that actually gives you a massage. So tonight, I'm going to show you how to build your very own home massage device. Simply buy a couple of old washing machines. I picked these up through the trading post for only 25 bucks each. Now, there's no need to hook these babies up to a water supply, but you will have to hook all of them up to the same power board. Then simply set all the machines to spin and put the mattress on top of the machines. Oh, this is great. Now, you can vary the intensity of the vibrations by placing heavier clothes in the machines. For a more intensive ride, simply unbalance the loads. And now, when your special lady friend comes over, start the cycle from the very beginning and let it build up to the spin. And I can promise, it'll feel like the earth really did move. Oh.
At this very moment, countless refugees are landing on our shores, driven by panic and despair, risking everything in one last desperate grab for a better life. And as a result of this human horror, innocent children are suffering from all sorts of emotional problems. And as modern Australian women, we can't let this happen, because there is something we can all do to help. Firstly, take some calico and draw up a small human shape. Then cut 2 of these out and sew them together, making sure you leave a small hole. And then fill it with soft stuffing. And sew it shut. All done. Isn't it darling? It's a faceless Amish doll. It's the type of doll used to educate children at Steiner schools. Having no face helps children develop their imagination by letting them project the human features they feel comfortable with onto the doll. So by giving your children this doll, they'll be able to project this faceless image onto the faces of refugees. Once they can see them as a faceless mass rather than individual strangers, our children, like us, can look forward to a less scary tomorrow. It really is an investment in not just your child's education, but Australia's future.
Amber, for God's sake, stop slouching and sit up straight. You too, Kieran. You'll end up looking like the Hunchback of Notre Dame. Bad posture is not only detrimental to growing bones and cartilage, it creates an impression of a slovenly personality that can adversely affect a young person's chances in the job market or the social scene in general. Amber, Kieran, you're doing it again. I said sit up straight. But like so many breakthroughs in the history of chiropractic treatment, an exciting new breakthrough has come from an unexpected source. Colin here is a drug courier, and what customs officers have noticed from scrutinizing airport surveillance videos is that though sallow-skinned, sweaty and unhealthy, drug couriers walk erect with excellent posture. And wow, their body cavities have been packed to the brim with condoms filled with cocaine or heroin, making it now well impossible to tilt the body forward more than 5 degrees off the perpendicular from above the waist. Kieran and Amber may take a little convincing, but a little discomfort and wincing now will pay off big time later. An hour or 2 a day for about 3 months should convince the muscle memory that you mean business. And when Kieran walks tall into the boardroom and Amber becomes a supermodel, they'll have you to thank, spinally speaking. Bye now.
If you're a mum who wants to get back into the workforce without the guilt of leaving your infant in an impersonal creche environment, the answer, as always, is on the street. It's called busking. Now, the public are sick to the back teeth with mimes, didgeridoo players and poncy little brats playing violins and flutes. But you have a natural gift, breastfeeding. As any Hollywood mogul will tell you, tits never hurt a show. Because this is fairly cutting-edge stuff, it might take a while for the public to cotton on to what's going on. You may need to make it clear that you're working in the busking genre. So, I've chosen a statue of the Madonna and Child. Just be careful to keep the silver paint away from the actual nipple area, as it is highly toxic. And sick as we are as a society, we're not yet prepared to pay good money to see a dead baby. And the good bit is, the child will be exposed to the ethics of the marketplace a good 14 years before he'll be working at Macca's. How character forming can that be? See ya.
No, I don't think it's acceptable. I don't think it's very hygienic too, and it's not very nice with someone sitting at another table who's not a family, who doesn't have a family, doesn't have commitments to actually be looking at something like that.
If a baby's crying, then it needs to be fed, and it's only being breastfed that it needs to be fed, so I'm all for it.
I think it's disgraceful, actually. I think that there is a very close bond between a mother and a child, and that should be kept between the two of them. You know, if you know you're going out for a day and that you're going to have to feed your child, make a bottle.
It's like me flopping up, against the wall and go, oh, I've got to go to the toilet. It's like, I mean, come on, man. We're humans. We're not animals, I don't know. A breast is a breast. A penis is a penis. Same thing goes,
Todd, mate, what's the matter? You look like you've seen a ghost.
Not a ghost, Sigourney. A mime.
What?
A mime. There was a mime in the background of Penny's segment.
So?
Well, I just don't like mimes, Sigourney. I really don't.
Oh, Todd, no one likes mimes. But I've never seen anyone react quite like this about them before.
Yeah, well, you just don't know. Oh, it's just... My third true love was romanced away from me by a mime.
Oh, you poor thing.
Do you know what it does to a man's self-esteem to lose a girl to a mime? It just cuts you up so bad.
I can only imagine. But let's move on to something more uplifting. What you need is a good laugh.
Yeah, it'd take quite a bit to get me to laugh.
Maybe not, because Dr. Rudy's next segment is about how to get guaranteed laughs and how to get back that self-esteem.
Oh.
He says, give me the $6 grand or I'll rip your partitions out.
So you got the promotion?
Meet Gain. Gain here is a successful young merchant banker fast-tracking his way to a future fortune. He only has one problem in his life. He thinks he is funny. Unfortunately, nobody laughs at his jokes. His humor is puerile and hopeless. His self-esteem is in ruins. So unless he plans on changing his career by becoming an advertising copywriter, he is going to need my professional psychological help. This is a set of very small yet extremely powerful speakers. This is a mini disc player. On it, I've recorded a personal laugh track for Gain. That's right, a laugh track. A laugh track, or canned laughter, is a trick that television producers have used since the 50s to let an audience know if a television show is funny.
He says, give me my $6 grand or I'll rip your partitions out.
Well, look at that. Gain can be funny after all. 50 psychology together with 21st century technology. Another winning combination from Dr. Rudy. Bye now.
Oh, g'day. You know, one of the most frustrating things about being an artist is that more often than not, your artwork doesn't get the recognition it deserves until long after you're dead. That's why I reckon you should take a tip from Todd and get the recognition and reward your art deserves right now by having your work of art signed by a terminally ill person. There you go, that's the spot right there. Thanks, mate. And there you have it, a top tip to turbocharge your struggle for artistic and financial freedom. Hey, Alwyn, do you reckon you could hang on a tick while I do another?
Excuse me for a minute, I'll be right back.
I'll be right here waiting for you. How on earth did cigar smoking become fashionable again? A lot of the men that I mingle with think that smoking a $50 cigar that's been lit with a piece of cedar really impresses me. Well, it does, but the trouble is that cigar breath is not very inviting. And if you intend to take the relationship further at the end of the night, well, it's bad enough having to smell their bad breath without having to taste it. Thank you. So, here's what you have to do. Just severely scald your tongue. That way, your taste buds will be completely numb, so you won't be able to smell or taste anything. True, you could just ask him to use mouthwash, but that'll just make him feel self-conscious. And ladies, the end of the night is not when you want to make him feel awkward. So, what are we talking about?
You know, babysitting is a totally dope way to make some dollars. And anyone can do it. But like some of my friends reckon they couldn't handle it. What do you do with a 5-year-old? How do you keep them occupied? Well, it's all in the preparation. You see, kids just dig doing craft. So, here's a tip to help you get through those long hours of babysitting. Firstly, you'll need heaps of these. And secondly, you'll need a ton of this. Kids are so into the stupid, repetitive nature of craft. And egg cartons are perfect because they're big and easy to use. Good on you, Hi. And when they get tired, and let me tell you, they always do, then you're ready for phase 2. Hi! Hi! Oh, guess that's the end of craft then. And there's still 3 hours of babysitting left to go. But don't worry, you won't have to put up with this for long. As anyone in the recording industry will tell you, egg cartons make choice sound insulators. Little Hi can scream to his heart's content and the neighbours and I won't hear a thing. Now the time will just fly. Oh, and it's a good idea to have an egg carton dinosaur ready to show his parents when they come to pick him up, just so they can see how well you've kept their little treasure occupied. Plus, they'll get why he's so scared of egg cartons. See ya, Hi! Sure, now my bedroom walls are covered with egg cartons, but think of it this way. The next time I have a guy in there, I'll be able to give him the feedback he needs to continue to please without worrying about generating a soundscape for the neighbours. See ya.
Well, Sigourney, I must say, I'm looking forward to our little break. We undertook quite a task solving the problems of the nation.
Yes, we did, Dr. Rudy, but it was unbelievably rewarding work. So, what do you have planned for our time off?
Oh, nothing too exciting. I'll probably take the boat up north.
Oh, a lovely time to be going.
And I'm seriously thinking of trying Everest again. So what about you, my dear? Any plans?
Well, I have a couple of personal projects I'd like to spend some time on.
Really? Well, we shan't keep you from them for too much longer, because here's Todd back in the kitchen and ready to show you all how to prepare a tantalizing treat.
Today, I'm going to show you how to make something a little bit special. Japanese tempura. Tempura is made from a selection of delicacies that have been coated in an extremely delicate and light batter, then deep fried till they're incredibly crisp. They are delicious and relatively easy to make. Now, tempura batter, unlike stodgy fish and chip batter, is made by mixing a bag of this with some ice cold water. Now, you can find this at any Asian specialty food store, but if you don't have one of them handy, you can whip up something almost as good with some flour, iced water, and egg whites. Traditionally, tempura is made with thinly sliced vegetables or seafoods, but you can use anything you like. And since meat is so highly prized in Japan and so affordable here, I've chosen to tempura these. Just lightly coat them in the batter, letting the excess drain off, then deep fry them for 1 to 2 minutes. Notice the way the batter thins out, becoming almost transparent so you can see the treat inside. Oh, it just looks so appetising. Then drain it for a minute to remove the excess oil. It's healthier that way. Now, to eat these,
you're gonna need some Japanese chopsticks. I don't know about you, but I find using two a little bit of a struggle. So I'm gonna do it the Australian way and just use the one. And there you have it, a Japanese tempura treat that's easy to make and even easier to eat.
I've been getting stacks of emails lately from kids who are fed up with all the homework teachers keep dumping on them. I mean, what's the point of getting an education when it cuts into your TV watching time? But of course, comparatively, you're lucky. I mean, there are starving kids in the third world who would love to be in your position, but instead they have to work in sweatshops or scavenge through rubbish dumps for food. So it seems to me the solution is obvious. You should help these underprivileged children by outsourcing your homework. That's right. Get yourself a World Vision sponsor child and FedEx them your assignments. Be sure to include a return self-addressed envelope. And by sending them just a few assignments a day, you're allowing a starving child to live vicariously through your education. Of course, you might want to put some thought into the type of child you're sending your homework to. If you're outsourcing maths and physics, get World Vision to find you an Asian kid with glasses. If you want a child who can write a controversial general studies essay on America's sponsorship of state terrorism, find a Nicaraguan, Kurdish or Palestinian kid. It'll read uncannily like Chomsky. At the end of the day, if you have a crisis of conscience about exploiting the child, we'll just get them to invoice you. Because at 12 cents an hour, it's cheap at twice the price. See ya.
As a modern woman, it's important to be very selective when you choose your friends. After all, your friends' friends are the pool of people that you're most likely to have sex with. So, if you want a healthy sex life with men who have a healthy bank balance, then my advice is to befriend your father. It makes perfect sense. After all, your father has much more eligible friends than you do. They have money, heart conditions, and unattractive menopausal wives, making them ripe for the picking. And men that are much older are fantastically fun to reel in. Because they're so easy, there's absolutely no need to be subtle. Oh, Uncle Roberto, I'd just love to go for a ride in your big old Mercedes. Shall we?
Absolutely.
One of the best things about these older family men is there's plenty of room in their bigger family cars. Room you'll need to help them reassess their family values. Maybe after he's fully funded a fabulous night out. So you see, ladies, your daddy really is your best friend. I've only been socialising with mine for 2 hours and I'm already having a fabulous time.
How's it? Dr. Rudy here. Men, are you married? Has your wife started to worry about your health and especially your diet? If she has, then you're in quite a predicament because her concerns and constant nagging about what you eat will mean no more fats, no more dairy, less red meat and far less alcohol for you. But don't worry, there is a way for you to indulge in all the things you like whenever you like. All you have to do is learn how to cook. That's right, men. If you get in the kitchen and learn how to cook, you will be able to eat and drink anything you like. You see, your wife will be so grateful that you are relieving her burden by doing the cooking that she won't care what you are cooking. Terry here has been using this technique for quite a while now and has never been happier. And why wouldn't he be? For dinner tonight, he's made cassoulet, a classic French casserole of duck, bacon, sausage and beans cooked in goose fat. Delicious. And when he serves this to his wife, instead of chastising him for the cholesterol content of the meal, she'll simply think that making such a fine feast just for her deserves a decent bottle of wine. Maybe two. Furthermore, a good meal coupled with some excessive alcohol consumption may be just the thing to rekindle your passions, which in turn will provide you with all the exercise you'll need. Bon appetit now.
Look at these. You might think they're a total toss at $200, but don't knock them till you've worn them.
And if you know what I'm talking about, you'd probably kill for a pair of shoes like these. Well, you don't have to, because I've found the perfect way to pick up the latest in streetwear, and it won't cost you a thing. All you have to do is head down to an inner city train line. You see, graffiti artists who tag trains always wear the latest and coolest in street gear. But train tagging is a dangerous art, especially when the artist leans out too far from a moving train, like this one here. Ooh, Adidas. And they look like my size. No one's gonna miss them. I mean, they've got to be removed to tie a tag to his toe anyway. And if you don't do it, some morgue attendant probably will. Admittedly, the best time to do this sort of shopping is at dusk. The light's low, visibility's poor, and it's not late enough for anyone to realise that this former fashion junkie is missing. But any time will do. They're a bit big, but some thick socks will fix that. So there you go. You don't have to kill for the latest in streetwear. You just have to know where to shop. See ya.
Well, I can't believe it. But here we are, not only at the end of tonight's show, but the end of another series.
I know, didn't time just fly by?
But don't worry, Australia, we can be back for you if you let us know you still need us.
Yeah, be proactive, people. After all, your problems will probably persist, and harassment always pays off.
That's right. But for now, as always, it's been a real pleasure.
I know my practical advice has continued to make even more of you healthy, wealthy and happy.
And remember, keep scamming the man, people. That way your life will always be just that little bit better.
Being one who's not the best at long goodbyes, I'll simply say goodbye. And until we next meet, why not take flamenco dance lessons?
And in the meantime, you little battlers keep fighting a good fight and remember to always be good to one another.
And I hope we'll be back for you.
Goodbye, Australia.